Okay, let's unpack this. Picture yourself for a moment standing at the base of this, like, massive ancient sand dune.
Right.
The sand's deep orange, sun beating down. You're totally exhausted. It's the final climb, this multi-day race, oldest desert on Earth. You've already done, what, over 100 miles in crazy heat?
Yeah, that feeling, that raw challenge, pushing your absolute limits, that's really the starting point for our deep dive today.
And the core idea we're digging into is how the principles you learn in, well, exactly these kinds of situations, endurance sports, big adventures, how they can actually give you a blueprint, a way to, navigate and maybe even win at life.
Exactly. It's about taking lessons from the extreme, yeah, and seeing how they apply to, well, the everyday stuff.
All our insights today are coming from Go Far by Jennifer Strong McConachie. And she uses her own incredible journey, ultramarathons, swimming iconic waterways, climbing mountains.
Wow.
Not just as stories, but as a practical guide. It's
Sure.
pretty amazing stuff.
So our mission here is really to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from her book.
Right.
Think of it as your shortcut to understanding this framework she built for tackling big goals, living a more engaged life, stuff you can actually use.
So where does this powerful approach begin? The author lays out this, well, pretty distinctive way to tackle grand goals, big ideas. It's built on 3 core pillars.
That's right. And these aren't just abstract concepts. They're like active ways of engaging with the world around you. Pillar 1 is developing an explorer's mindset.
Okay.
2 is using outlier tactics.
Okay.
And the 3rd, practicing immersion theory.
She explains that by really adopting these pillars, she deepened her connection with nature, kept seeking adventure, and it really transformed how she faced challenges, becoming, like she puts it, a confident winner physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, too.
What's really fascinating is how they build on each other. It's not just one thing. It creates this synergistic approach that goes way beyond just like athletic performance. It's about how you show up for life, really.
Absolutely. So let's dive into that first one. Developing an explorer's mindset. This isn't about needing a passport to start, is it?
Yeah.
It's more fundamental.
Exactly. It kicks off with seeking discovery, adventure, and freedom, right where you are. The source highlights her early connection to the Arkansas rivers, learning to paddle, run, bike there. That direct experience, combined with studying the local history, it gave her this deep sense of place and, well, curiosity. There's a great line in the book. Books about rivers are always the best books. It speaks to how learning fuels that exploration.
Yeah, I like that. And she found early on, like in her first race as a kid, thinking running is hard.
Yeah, we've all been there.
But reframing it as an adventure run just completely changed it, made it fun. It's about finding that little spark of discovery, even when things are tough or familiar.
And that idea, applying discovery, that's what keeps things fresh. It leads from, local 5Ks to these huge international ultras, travel, famous summits. It fosters this idea of being a global citizen alongside being an athlete.
Right.
Using these activities to really explore, learn about cultures, not just sort of pass through.
And her prep for these trips isn't just about booking flights, is it? It's part of that explorer's mindset.
Totally.
Reading books set there, studying maps, researching food, like she made a list for New Zealand or cooked a Chilean casserole after Patagonia.
That's brilliant.
It's about building this informed connection before you go. It just makes the whole experience richer, more immersive.
That level of prep really shifts you from being a passive tourist to an active participant, ready to discover things on a much deeper level.
Okay, so building on that discovery idea, especially in the everyday, the source brings in this concept of treasure hunting.
Yeah, I love this one. It's about actively looking for opportunities or interesting things, like wherever you happen to be.
The metaphor she uses is great. Her Siberian husky getting ridiculously excited, finding random junk on walks.
Yeah, it captures that spirit, right? That enthusiasm for the hunt, finding value where you don't expect it.
And she actually lives it. Swimming to Treasure Island in the British Virgin Islands while reading the book Treasure Island.
No way.
And collecting fossil shells there. It's like perfectly bringing that idea to life.
It really shows how discovery can connect these like seemingly random threads in life. Think about the Alcatraz swim prep.
Okay.
Her research led her to other escape stories. Freedom Swim, Count of Monte Cristo. Then that led to a book and movie about Devil's Island.
Right.
And then later she sees a preview for a remake of that same movie. It shows how history, books, movies, a physical challenge, they all weave together if you've got that explorer's curiosity switched on.
And to kind of gauge this treasure hunting spirit in yourself, She offers this simple thing called the shopping cart test.
Ah, yes, the shopping cart test. It's a neat way to see how open you are to finding value, opportunity in your daily surroundings.
It comes from her childhood memory, right?
Sure.
Her dad brought home an old shopping cart.
And it became this amazing source of play and treasure for all the neighborhood kids. Yeah.
So the test is simple. You see a dumpster, maybe overflowing with potentially interesting stuff. Do you A, keep driving, B, think, then forget it, or C, maybe wait till dark and investigate?
Huh. And if your answer is C, waiting till dark,
You pass.
you pass the test. According
Yeah.
to the source, yeah. It means you've got that treasure hunting spirit. If you answered A or B, it's maybe an area you could, consciously develop a bit more.
Applying this test, this willingness to look past the obvious, find potential in the unexpected, that's a powerful way to really cultivate that explorer's mindset.
Definitely. It helps you learn about yourself, figure out what interests you, and gives you the freedom to just be you, engaging with the world uniquely.
So for you, the listener, the takeaway here is really about actively cultivating that curiosity, seeking out new experiences, finding richness, not just on big adventures, but applying that same observant treasure hunting eye to your own daily life.
That's a great way to put it. Finding the adventure right where you are.
Okay, that's a fantastic first pillar. Now let's shift gears to the second one. Using outlier tactics. This sounds like
Yeah.
deliberately thinking and acting outside the box.
Precisely. It's about drawing on big, independent ideas, pushing boundaries, not just accepting things as they are, having the guts to be a bit different.
She gives a clear example from her own life, high school freshman, competitive runner, and swimmer.
Things she knew well.
Right. And she decides to switch to college rowing, a sport she knew nothing about. That's a definite choice to step way outside her norm.
That's a big leap.
Yeah.
And jumping into ultra running right after her first marathon, back when it wasn't really a mainstream thing, another example of embracing a big, kind of unconventional idea.
She shares a tactic that helps with these big ideas too. Just saying your goals out loud.
Simple, but powerful.
Yeah, it helps clarify what you want, forces you to think about why you want it, helps you plan, and kind of shows you where your strengths and weaknesses might be.
And it connects to adopting a how-can approach, doesn't it? Instead of immediately jumping to, oh, I can't do that. It's about proactive problem solving, a skill she apparently learned young.
One of the most striking outlier tactics is adopting the 24-hour clock. This sounds like it expands your idea of usable time way beyond the 9 to 5.
Oh, absolutely. Collegiate rowing, adventure racing, ultra running, these things fundamentally taught her this. It's about using all the hours available.
Like running all night to beat the Kansas summer heat.
Exactly. Going to bed deliberately at 9 p.m., waking up at 1 a.m., running for 9 hours straight,
Yeah.
or those super early 2, 3, 4 a.m. training starts. It's leveraging time differently.
And a key skill within that is mastering combat naps.
Yes. These short, anywhere, anytime breaks, physical, mental resets, even just a minute or two. They help you push through sleeplessness. She found them vital for the Grand Canyon R2R2R run.
R2R2R, rim to rim to rim.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she notes how useful they became just in daily life later on.
And the alpine start from mountaineering. That's another version, right?
Right. Bed super early, like 6 p.m., then up at midnight to climb into the dark and cold. Used on peaks like Kilimanjaro, Rainier. It's totally restructuring your schedule around a specific demanding goal.
She really emphasizes consistency too, just putting in the hours, even when you're tired, busy, maybe a little under the weather.
Yeah, it's that repetition, pattern, routine, sheer dedication. And apparently, her Siberian Husky was often the needed push for those super early or late runs.
I can imagine.
It's interesting, too, how she connects this 24-hour training clock and the combat naps to parenthood.
Oh, yeah? How so?
Well, being up all night feeding a baby, caring for them. She said it felt like the ultimate combat nap training. Perfect preparation, in a way.
That makes sense. Okay, related to the 24-hour clock is this tactic, beat the day and win the night.
Yeah, this is about using those really early morning hours before the world gets going, making progress on goals, setting a positive tone for the day, maybe having experiences others miss.
Like that image she paints of a 4 a.m. walk with the husky in a magical snowfall.
Beautiful, right. Connecting with the quiet world, being rewarded by that unexpected beauty. It shows the unique opportunities that open up when you shift your schedule.
Another tactic is seizing opportunities for adversity training, which sounds like leaning into discomfort.
Pretty much. Actively embracing uncomfortable conditions, rain, cold, mud, whatever the weather throws at you.
Adventure racing must have been great training for that.
Oh, totally. By definition, it's in untamed places. Hazards, overgrowth, scratches, bruises, inevitable. But she says it built this deep love for just being out in the elements, not shrinking from getting wet or dirty. She mentions the crazy mud in the Patagonia El Cruz race as her personal benchmark for all future mud challenges.
Okay, a mud benchmark. And finally, she talks about creating new ways to administer the what makes you test.
Right. This is about intentionally pushing yourself past what you think your limits are, just to see what you're really capable of.
The escape from Alcatraz swim sounds like a perfect example.
Definitely. She admits being nervous distance, cold, currents, totally understandable, but it was a deliberate choice to take on something that really pushed her boundaries. And she connects it to this like rogue outlier part of her personality, physically escaping the prison.
So thinking about applying these outlier tactics,
Mhm.
how can you, the listener, do that?
Well, it's about cultivating independence, right? In thought, in action, finding ways to push your own boundaries, maybe mentally, maybe physically, rethinking how you use your time, and crucially, seeing challenges like bad weather or discomfort not as stock signs, but as chances to grow and learn something.
It's about not being pinned in by conventional thinking, finding your own way, even in small things daily.
Exactly, charting your own course.
Okay, that leads us beautifully into the third pillar, practicing immersion theory. This sounds like really, truly engaging with everything around you.
It is. Immersion is about deeply absorbing, becoming fully involved in your surroundings, your experiences. Step one is just getting outside to find adventure.
And not being afraid to get dirty.
Right. Emphasizing that getting wet, muddy, uncomfortable,
Mm.
that's not a failure. That's essential life training. It's part of the deal.
It shifts the focus, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
From just the end goal to the journey itself.
Yeah.
Makes being outdoors the fun part, whatever happens.
And this immersion often involves mastering what she calls overs, unders, and throughs.
Okay.
Being ready to navigate whatever's in your path. Jumping over fences, crawling under things, going through drainage canals, maybe in an urban exploring context.
The ultimate example she gives sounds wild. Canyoneering in Buckskin Gulch.
Oh, yeah. World's longest slot canyon. It's pure overs, unders, and throughs. Hiking, swimming, climbing through these incredibly tight passages, dealing with pools of unknown depth.
With the risk of flash floods, too.
Always there. That's total engagement with the environment, like on its term.
Now, okay, building on that, step
Yeah.
3 is seeking out multi-sensory experiences.
This means actively using all your senses. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and even developing what she calls a sixth sense for danger in new places, kind of like an animal. This is key to getting truly comfortable and capable out in nature.
She presents swimming as a really profound form of this immersion theory.
Yeah, it's a great example. You feel weightless, you're surrounded by water, you're using every sense just to navigate and survive, and you definitely tap into that sixth sense for unseen hazards.
The story about swimming Cheney Lake in Kansas in dense fog, that's powerful.
Isn't it? Visibility near zero in murky water. She had to rely completely on smell, mossy mud, boat gas, feeling the cool water on her skin, hearing her stroke, and just sensing potential dangers, boats, mystery fish. It's a vivid picture of total multisensory immersion.
Okay, step 5 brings in another layer, mastering the science and the art.
Right. This is about balancing the technical, the data-driven side of preparation
A science.
with the more intuitive, mental, emotional, spiritual aspects, the art.
So the science is like training plans, gear lists, nutrition strategy, visualization, studying maps.
Exactly. The tangible prep, preparing for a 100K ultra, like the Pumpkin Holler 100. That's the science.
And the art is.
Adaptability, a
Yeah.
savvy mind, quick problem solving when things go wrong, being able to just, go with the flow.
She says failure often happens when you neglect one side.
That's her point.
Yeah.
She illustrates it with that 100K ultra. The science was knowing from research that sleep deprivation could cause hallucinations.
Okay.
The art was actually dealing with seeing hallucinated, broken down wagons during the race, acknowledging it without freaking out, and just keeping moving forward. That's the art in action.
Step 6 is finding stillness. Training your mind to focus deeply even while your body's working hard.
Yeah, whether running, driving, just sitting quietly. She talks about her secret for long efforts, being able to hear the silence of the cosmos.
Wow.
It's like getting in the zone or finding flow. The body's working, but the mind can rest, wander, meditate, maybe connect spiritually.
Visualization before big events fits here too, right? Mentally rehearsing step by step.
Definitely. And she mentions using a low power mode on tough mountain climbs like Rainer, focusing all energy only on essentials, fueling, gear checks, body signals, and conserving everything else. Pure focus.
Okay, step 7. Integrating creative movement. Actively seeking new ways to move.
Yeah, combining different activities, tapping into broader needs, physical, but also mental, emotional, spiritual.
Like intuitive running, listening to your body instead of just the schedule.
Exactly. Based on how you feel, sleep, stress levels. And her own history shows this, doing triathlon, dance, swimming, team sports. Even when ultra training, she'd cross-train intensely, sometimes only running 3 times a week.
To prevent injury and burnout.
Yeah, and stay excited, be well-rounded. She lists tons of things: weightlifting, group fitness, yoga, Pilates, climbing, skating, even aerial arts.
The goal is adding like spherical movement.
Right. Countering the linear motion of running. Engaging different muscles, different planes. Adventure runs are perfect for this. Jumping, climbing obstacles. It burns more calories, uses different muscles, wakes up the mind, just needs an adventurous attitude.
She suggests finding ways to flow into this daily, even at work, though it's not always encouraged there.
True. Okay, step 8, activating color therapy.
Color therapy, how does that work?
It's about noticing the natural world's colors and also using colors strategically in clothes, your environment, based on ideas about energy frequencies, how colors affect mind and body, like the chakra system or color theory principles.
So she actually studies this.
Yeah, studies the impact on herself, aligns colors to how she feels or what an event demands, uses it for emotional prep for expeditions, even just getting dressed for work. She noticed times she'd instinctively wear a lot of one color, like purple, and reflected on what that might mean.
So it adds this layer of psychological, emotional readiness.
Exactly, feeling prepared top to bottom, including color alignment. She shares a cool example. After the tough Trans-Gran Canaria race, she craved Valencia oranges and the color orange. She felt her body was calling for that color therapy for healing.
Interesting. Okay, step 9 is training in all the elements.
Yeah.
Pretty crucial for immersion.
Absolutely. Essential for year-round training, proper immersion. And she gets practical here.
Tips for running in extreme heat.
Yeah. Walk breaks, run walk, find shade, loop back for supplies, run with friends who have treats, maybe do an adventure run through sprinklers, or even run inside a mall. And maybe a Frappuccino reward, being flexible.
And for deep cold.
Yeah.
Like below 20 Fahrenheit.
Meticulous layering is key. Fleece, soft shells, double mittens, gaiter, hat, balaclava, Vaseline between toes, changing wet layers halfway, having backups like throwaway cotton gloves or even plastic bags in a pinch, maybe stopping at a store for emergency gear. Starting with an energetic dog helps. Hot drink or shower reward after. And knowing it could always be colder, like in mountaineering. She contrasts just pushing through short, cold runs versus the serious survival prep needed for longer efforts.
Right. And the final step, 10. Reading big books to achieve big dreams.
Yeah, this draws a parallel between tackling big life goals and expanding your mind through challenging reading.
Like her childhood goal of reading War and Peace just because it was huge.
Exactly. It connects back to how endurance sports immerse you physically in places, while great literature immerses you in ideas and different perspectives.
So why are these immersion principles so valuable for you, the listener?
Well, it's about engaging deeply, right? Being present in your experiences, developing adaptability, finding that balance between planning and just flowing, connecting with yourself, with nature, using all your senses, learning to thrive really no matter the conditions outside.
It's about finding richness and capability through just deep, conscious engagement. Okay, let's bring these 3 pillars: explorer's mindset, outlier tactics, immersion theory together now. How do they work in concert during the really tough stuff?
The book gives great examples of this synergy, like the El Cruz race in Patagonia. Crazy mud, rocks, logistical chaos.
Sounds intense.
It required not just the physical endurance that's immersion, but outlier tactics for problem solving on the fly, pushing through unexpected awfulness, and all fueled by an explorer's mindset that kind of embraced the difficulty as part of the adventure in that wild place.
Or the Grand Canyon R2R2R run you mentioned.
Yeah, immersion in that unique, demanding place, needing careful resource management, using outlier tactics like the 24-hour clock and those combat knacks to keep going, and driven by that explorer's desire to tackle that specific iconic challenge.
She talks about other extremes too, right? Desert racing, mountaineering.
Yeah, Namibia testing heat limits, Kilimanjaro, Rainer needing progressive skills, adaptability, mental toughness, honed by all 3 pillars. Plus that cultural immersion piece of exploring. And the big swims, Hellespont, Baltic Sea swim run, Alcatraz, They were deep water immersion, but also needed outlier courage to even attempt them, and the explorer's curiosity about the history in the place. Canyoneering was maybe the ultimate physical immersion.
But it's not just about these massive expeditions, is it? She applies the framework locally, too.
Absolutely. Creating local adventures, that birthday kayak trip on the Arkansas River, using local resources to create a significant 34-mile journey. Gaining a new perspective on somewhere familiar through that explorer's lens, or just kayaking at night in Kansas, adding adversity and exploration to the routine.
And then there's what she calls life's ultimate endurance event, parenthood.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
This is where the training really transferred. Pregnancy itself, she was still exploring, co-steering on a baby moon in Bermuda,
Wow.
and childbirth presenting these intense, unpredictable challenges.
She contrasts childbirth and ultrarunning in an interesting way.
Yeah, the passive waiting of labor versus the active forward motion of running. How the willpower from one didn't necessarily translate. She even had a health scare, ended up in the ER while breastfeeding.
So the endurance sports skills helped, but only partially.
Exactly. The patience the organization learned through training, that provided some foundation. But the sheer exhaustion, the lack of predictable rest with a newborn, that required a whole new level of resilience, different from planned sleep deprivation in races.
But the core principles still applied.
Yeah, pushing through, adapting, and eventually finding a way back to seeking that outdoor immersion again. Those principles were essential for navigating that huge life change.
So these experiences, deserts, mountains, rivers, oceans, and then parenthood, they all show how applying this three-pillar approach let her adapt, overcome, get stronger, really win at life.
And through all of it, big challenges, small ones, athletic, personal, she keeps coming back to finding the sweet stuff.
Rewards.
Yeah, the essential rewards, those moments of beauty or blessing that just sustain you when things are hard.
And this isn't passive, right? You have to look for it.
Exactly. It's individually determined. You have to actively seek it out. Ties right back to treasure hunting and the explorer's mindset, understanding your own motivations, building that can-do attitude.
She gives some lovely, relatable examples.
Yeah, simple pleasures, a hot tub after a hard workout, essential oils, a beautiful sunset, a fluffy puppy, a cuddly baby, even just making it to work on time when life's chaotic.
Small victories count.
They really do. She talks about intentionally running through hard times, pushing through the difficulty, and how that helped her find the water, those moments of escape or solace that gave relief and perspective, helped her tackle life's bigger challenges.
It's a crucial balance, isn't it? The ability to endure hardship is fueled by the ability to find and really appreciate those moments of sweet stuff, however small. Grounds you amid the big goals.
Perfectly put. It keeps everything in perspective.
So we've really dug into this powerful framework from Jennifer Strong McConachie's Go Far, exploring how developing an explorer's mindset, using outlier tactics, and practicing immersion theory principles forged in endurance sports and adventure offer this really compelling approach to navigating, well, life.
Yeah, it's clear that pushing physical and mental limits in sport taught her invaluable lessons for everything. From climbing mountains to embracing parenthood, it shows how transferable these core ideas really are.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener. Considering this idea that you can find adventure, practice resilience, discover hidden treasure, not just out there in extreme challenges or exotic places, but by consciously applying this mindset explorer outlier immersion to the terrain of your own daily life. What overs, unders, or throughs are you ready to embrace right where you are?